Have you ever felt like the more you want something, the harder it is to get it? It's a common experience that many of us face in our lives. We put in endless effort, time, and energy trying to achieve our goals. But sometimes it feels like we're running in circles. What if there was a different approach? What if the key to getting what we want is actually by wanting it less? This is where the concept of the backwards law comes into play. The backwards law is a principle that suggests the less you seek something, the more likely you are to get it. It's a counterintuitive idea that goes against our natural instincts. We're often taught that the harder we work and the more we want something, the more likely we are to achieve it. However, the backwards law proposes the opposite. It suggests that when we let go of our attachment to a specific outcome, we open ourselves up to receiving it. This principle can be seen in various aspects of life. For example, have you ever noticed that when you're desperately trying to fall asleep, it seems impossible? Your mind is racing, and the more you try to force yourself to sleep, the more awake you feel. But when you let go of the need to fall asleep and simply relax, sleep often comes naturally. The same concept applies to many other areas of life, from relationships to career success. One of the main reasons the backwards law is so powerful is because it highlights the drawbacks of constantly seeking something. When we're always chasing after a particular goal or outcome, we can easily become consumed by it. We might start to feel like our happiness and self-worth are tied to achieving that goal. This mindset can lead to a lot of frustration and disappointment, especially if things don't go as planned. Constantly seeking can also have a negative impact on our mental health. When we're always focused on what we don't have, we miss out on appreciating what we do have. We might start to compare ourselves to others and feel like we're falling short. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and even depression. Moreover, the act of seeking itself can sometimes push away the very things we desire. This is because when we're coming from a place of desperation or neediness, it can be off-putting to others. For example, if you're constantly trying to force a romantic relationship to happen, it might come across as clingy or desperate, which can actually push potential partners away. So if seeking doesn't work, what's the alternative? The backwards law suggests that the answer lies in letting go. When we let go of our attachment to a specific outcome, we create space for new opportunities to arise. We stop trying to control everything and instead allow things to unfold naturally. Letting go doesn't mean giving up on your goals or desires. It simply means releasing your grip on how you think things should happen. It's about being open to different possibilities and trusting that the right things will come to you at the right time. There are countless stories of people who have found success by letting go. For example, consider the author who spent years trying to get their novel published, facing rejection after rejection. Finally, they decided to let go of their attachment to getting published and focus on writing for the joy of it. Ironically, it was then that they landed a publishing deal. The backwards law can be particularly useful when it comes to relationships. Often when we're single and desperately wanting to find a partner, it can feel like an uphill battle. We might put pressure on ourselves to go on countless dates or try to change ourselves to be more appealing to potential partners. However, the backwards law suggests that the key to finding a healthy relationship is actually by focusing on ourselves first. When we let go of the need to find a partner and instead focus on our own personal growth and happiness, we become more attractive to others. We start to radiate confidence and self-assuredness, which can be incredibly appealing. This doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means focusing on developing ourselves and our own interests, rather than making finding a partner our sole focus. It's about being content with who we are and trusting that the right person will come along when the time is right. In existing relationships, the backwards law can also be helpful. Sometimes when we're feeling insecure in a relationship, we might start to cling to our partner or try to control the relationship. However, this often has the opposite effect of what we want. It can make our partner feel smothered or controlled, which can lead to them pulling away. Instead, the backwards law suggests giving our partners space. It's about trusting the relationship and allowing our partners to have their own lives and interests outside of the relationship. When we give our partners freedom, it often makes them want to be closer to us. It's a paradox, but it's a powerful one. The backwards law can also be applied to career and business situations. Often, when we're just starting out in our careers, we might feel like we need to take on every opportunity that comes our way. We say yes to every project, even if it doesn't align with our goals or values. We work long hours and put immense pressure on ourselves to succeed. However, the backwards law suggests that sometimes saying no is actually the key to success. When we're selective about the projects we take on and the people we work with, we create space for the right opportunities to arise. We're able to focus our energy on the things that truly matter to us, rather than spreading ourselves too thin. This principle can be seen in the stories of many successful entrepreneurs and business leaders. They often talk about the importance of focus and saying no to things that don't align with their vision. By letting go of the need to do everything and instead focusing on what truly matters, they're able to achieve great success. The backwards law is also closely tied to personal growth and development. Often, when we're working on ourselves, we can get caught up in the idea of fixing ourselves. We might feel like we need to change everything about ourselves in order to be happy or successful. However, the backwards law suggests that true personal growth comes from a place of acceptance. It's about letting go of the need to be perfect and instead embracing who we are, flaws and all. When we stop trying to change ourselves and instead focus on accepting and loving ourselves as we are, we create space for real growth and transformation. This doesn't mean that we shouldn't strive to improve ourselves. It simply means that we should approach personal growth from a place of self-compassion and understanding. It's about focusing on progress, not perfection. One of the biggest challenges in applying the backwards law is overcoming the fear of letting go. It can be scary to release our attachment to a specific outcome, especially if we've been working towards it for a long time. We might worry that if we let go, we'll never achieve our goals. However, the truth is that letting go is often the key to achieving what we want. When we're holding on too tightly, we can actually block ourselves from receiving what we desire. We might be so focused on one particular path that we miss out on other opportunities that are right in front of us. To overcome the fear of letting go, it's important to practice trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the universe, and trust that everything is unfolding as it should. This doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means taking action from a place of alignment and flow, rather than force and control. It can also be helpful to start small. If the idea of letting go of a big goal feels overwhelming, start by practicing letting go in small ways. For example, you might let go of the need to control every aspect of your day and instead allow for some spontaneity. As you build your trust muscle, you'll find it easier to let go of bigger things. Ultimately, the backwards law is about finding true happiness and fulfillment. Often, we think that happiness comes from achieving our goals or getting what we want. However, the truth is that happiness is an inside job. It comes from a place of inner peace and contentment, rather than external circumstances. When we're constantly chasing after something, we miss out on the joy of the present moment. We're so focused on the future that we forget to appreciate what we have right now. The backwards law encourages us to let go of the chase and instead focus on finding happiness in the here and now. This doesn't mean that we shouldn't have goals or ambitions. It simply means that we should approach them from a place of detachment. We can work towards our goals while also enjoying the journey. We can appreciate the process of growth and learning rather than fixating solely on the end result. So how can we start applying the backwards law in our daily lives? The first step is awareness. Start to notice when you're getting caught up in the chase or trying to force things to happen. When you catch yourself in this pattern, take a step back and remind yourself to let go. One practical way to apply the backwards law is through the practice of gratitude. When we focus on appreciating what we have, rather than fixating on what we lack, we naturally start to let go of the need to chase after things. We find contentment in the present moment, which paradoxically often leads to getting more of what we want. Another way to practice the backwards law is through the art of allowing. Instead of trying to control everything, practice allowing things to unfold naturally. Trust that the right things will come to you at the right time. This doesn't mean being passive, but rather being open and receptive to opportunities as they arise. Ultimately, the backwards law is about more than just achieving our goals or getting what we want. It's about finding a sense of peace and fulfillment in life. It's about releasing our attachment to specific outcomes and instead focusing on the journey of growth and self-discovery. When we let go of the need to control everything, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We start to see opportunities that we might have missed before. We find joy in the present moment, rather than always focusing on the future. The backwards law is a powerful principle that can transform our lives in countless ways. By letting go of the chase and instead focusing on inner peace and contentment, we paradoxically often end up getting more of what we want. It's a reminder that sometimes the best way to move forward is by letting go. The backwards law is a counterintuitive principle that suggests the less we seek something, the more likely we are to get it. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the key to achieving our goals is by releasing our attachment to them. Throughout this video, we've explored the pitfalls of constantly seeking and the power of letting go. We've seen how the backwards law applies to relationships, career, personal growth, and happiness. We've also discussed practical ways to start applying this principle in our daily lives. Ultimately, the backwards law is about finding a sense of inner peace and contentment, regardless of our external circumstances. It's about trusting in the journey of life and being open to the opportunities that arise. So, I encourage you to start experimenting with the backwards law in your own life. Notice when you're getting caught up in the chase and practice letting go. Focus on appreciating what you have and finding joy in the present moment. Trust that everything is unfolding as it should. Remember, the backwards law is not about giving up on your goals or desires. It's about approaching them from a place of detachment and allowing. It's about finding happiness and fulfillment in the journey, rather than fixating solely on the destination. As you start to apply the backwards law in your life, be patient and compassionate with yourself. It's a practice, and it takes time to unlearn old patterns and habits. But with consistency and dedication, you'll start to see the power of this principle in action. So let go of the chase and embrace the journey. Trust in the power of the backwards law and watch as your life unfolds in beautiful and unexpected ways. Remember, the less you seek, the more you get. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all the best on your journey of growth and self-discovery.